You've been watching what you eat. You've cut back on sugar, started exercising regularly, and even made a rule to stop eating late at night. Yet somehow, that belly fat refuses to go away. What if the issue isn't your diet at all? What if it isn't about how many workouts you're doing? What if the real reason is a hormone that rises every morning as soon as you wake up? That hormone is cortisol. In this video from Wellness Science Hub, we're going to explore how a simple morning routine inspired by Japanese habits may help keep cortisol under control and make it easier for your body to stop holding on to stubborn belly fat. Most people have never heard of something called the cortisol awakening response, often shortened to CAR. It's a natural process that occurs shortly after waking up. During the first half hour of your day, cortisol levels can rise dramatically, sometimes by around 50%. Now, cortisol itself isn't bad. In fact, it's essential. It helps wake you up, boosts alertness, and prepares your body for the day ahead. The trouble begins when that morning surge becomes excessive or remains elevated longer than it should. When that happens, your body starts behaving as if it's under constant stress. And when the body senses stress, it shifts into a protective mode. One of the ways it protects itself is by storing extra fat, especially around the midsection. Research published in the journal Obesity found a clear connection between higher morning cortisol levels and increased abdominal fat. Interestingly, the relationship was strongest around the belly area rather than other parts of the body. From your body's perspective, this makes sense. It sees stress as a potential threat and responds by storing energy close to vital organs. Think of it as adding an extra layer of protection around the body's most important systems. That's why endless sit-ups and crunches often fail to solve the problem. If hormones are driving fat storage, exercise alone may not be enough to address the root cause. So what's the solution? This is where Japanese wellness practices become fascinating. Japan consistently maintains some of the lowest obesity rates in the world. While many factors contribute to this, one overlooked reason is the way many people begin their mornings. Their approach focuses on calming the body and nervous system before the demands of the day take over. Let's look at the first of 5 simple habits. The first step is known as asa no mizu, which simply means morning water. Many people wake up and immediately reach for coffee. It's become almost automatic, but after spending 7 or 8 hours asleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. Every cell is starting the day needing water. When caffeine hits a dehydrated system, it can amplify the body's stress response. Instead of easing into the morning, you're pushing the accelerator before the engine has warmed up. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman has often emphasized the importance of hydration early in the day. According to his recommendations, replenishing fluids should come before reaching for caffeine. A common Japanese-inspired approach is surprisingly simple. Start your day with a glass of warm water rather than cold water. Add a small pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. That's all. The warm water gently activates digestion and helps the body transition from sleep into wakefulness. The sea salt helps replace minerals lost overnight, including sodium and other important electrolytes. One mineral that deserves special attention is magnesium, which plays an important role in supporting the body's stress response and maintaining healthy cortisol balance. The lemon provides vitamin C, a nutrient that has been studied for its potential effects on stress hormones. Some research suggests vitamin C may help reduce cortisol elevations that occur during stressful situations. In fact, researchers at the University of Alabama found that vitamin C supplementation significantly reduced cortisol responses following stress exposure. All it takes is a couple of minutes. With one simple habit, you're already sending your body a powerful message. There's no emergency, no threat, and no need to hold on to extra fat for protection. The second step is called asano sunpo, or morning sunlight. It sounds incredibly simple, but the science supporting it is impressive. Within about 30 minutes of waking up, step outside and spend 5 to 10 minutes in natural sunlight. And it's important that the light comes from the sun itself, not through a window, not from indoor lighting, and definitely not from a phone screen. The key is allowing real sunlight to reach your eyes, not through glass, not from indoor lighting, and certainly not from a screen. Why does this matter so much? Because sunlight is one of the strongest signals your body uses to regulate its circadian rhythm, your built-in biological clock. When that clock becomes misaligned, a lot more than your sleep suffers. Hunger signals, metabolism, hormone production, and cortisol balance can all become disrupted. Researcher Dr. Sachin Panda from the Salk Institute has spent years studying circadian biology. His findings suggest that people with poorly synchronized body clocks often experience higher cortisol levels and tend to accumulate more deep abdominal fat. Morning sunlight sets off an important chain of events inside the body. It helps stimulate serotonin production during the day. Later, serotonin is converted into melatonin, the hormone that supports quality sleep. Better sleep then helps keep cortisol levels healthier the following morning. In other words, a few minutes of sunlight today can influence how your body handles stress tomorrow. Many people in Japan have long included a morning walk, known as sunpo, as part of their daily routine. Exposure to early sunlight is naturally built into this practice. Long before modern science explained why it works, generations were already benefiting from it. Now let's move to the third step, known as the practice of creating space and allowing a pause. This habit revolves around coffee, and it may challenge what you've been doing for years. Try waiting at least 90 minutes after waking before drinking your first cup. That might sound difficult, but there's a strong scientific reason behind it. When you wake up, your brain is still clearing out a chemical called adenosine. This substance gradually builds throughout the day and contributes to feelings of tiredness. Under normal circumstances, your body naturally reduces adenosine levels during the first hour or two after waking. Caffeine doesn't remove adenosine. Instead, it temporarily blocks the receptors that adenosine normally attaches to. If you drink coffee immediately after waking, you're interfering with a process your body is already handling on its own. The adenosine remains in the system, waiting in the background. Then, when the caffeine starts wearing off later in the afternoon, all that accumulated adenosine can suddenly make itself known. That's when many people experience the familiar energy crash. The body often interprets that crash as a stress signal. Cortisol rises, cravings increase, and suddenly you're looking for sugary snacks or another cup of coffee to get through the day. The cycle repeats itself again and again. The Japanese concept of encourages creating intentional gaps between activities rather than reacting immediately. Applied to your morning routine, it means allowing your body enough time to wake up naturally before introducing caffeine. Once those 90 minutes have passed, your coffee often feels more effective. You may notice steadier energy, better focus, and fewer afternoon crashes. Interestingly, neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman follows a very similar strategy, typically delaying caffeine intake for 90 to 120 minutes after waking. The fourth step may surprise you even more. Walk, don't run. This idea challenges much of what modern fitness culture promotes. Many people assume that the most intense workout burns the most fat. While vigorous exercise certainly has benefits, timing matters. Immediately after waking, cortisol levels are already elevated. Jumping into a demanding workout during that period may add even more stress to an already activated system. Research published in the Journal of Endocrinological Investigation found that intense morning exercise can keep cortisol elevated for several hours afterward. You may feel energized initially thanks to the release of endorphins, but your stress hormones can remain elevated long after the workout ends. The Japanese approach is much simpler. Take a relaxed walk, not a power walk, not a sprint, just an easy, comfortable walk for about 20 to 30 minutes. What makes this especially interesting is a phenomenon researchers at Stanford have discussed called optic flow. As you move forward and the scenery passes by on both sides, your brain processes a specific visual pattern. This pattern appears to help calm the amygdala, the area of the brain heavily involved in fear and stress responses. In simple terms, walking doesn't just move your body, it can help quiet the parts of your brain that keep you stuck in a constant state of tension. Think of the amygdala as your brain's internal alarm system. Its job is to detect threats and keep you alert. But when that alarm stays switched on for too long, cortisol levels remain elevated and your body continues operating in a state of stress. One of the simplest ways to calm that system is walking, not sprinting, not an intense workout, not pedaling on a stationary bike while staring at a screen. A real walk outdoors. When you're moving through an environment and the world is naturally passing by on both sides, your brain receives visual cues that help signal safety. As a result, the stress response begins to settle down. For generations, many Japanese people have embraced this habit without needing scientific studies to explain it. To them, a daily walk isn't just physical activity, it's a form of therapy for both the body and mind. Now let's talk about the fifth and perhaps most powerful habit of all, silence and stillness. Ironically, it's also the one most people completely ignore. For the first 30 minutes after waking up, avoid touching your phone. No social media. No news updates, no emails, no notifications, nothing. Here's why. The moment you unlock your phone, your brain is bombarded with information. Messages demand attention, notifications create urgency, headlines trigger emotional reactions. Every one of these inputs stimulates your nervous system. Small dopamine releases combine with stress responses, pushing your brain from a calm state into a reactive one almost instantly. According to Dr. Anna Lemke, author of Dopamine Nation, early exposure to highly stimulating content can influence dopamine regulation throughout the day. When your brain starts the morning overloaded with stimulation, it often begins seeking even more stimulation later on. That can contribute to increased stress, more impulsive behavior, stronger cravings, and a nervous system that struggles to relax. The Japanese concept of stillness encourages something very different. Instead of flooding your mind with information the moment you wake up, create a period of quiet. Drink your water, step outside, take a few slow breaths, enjoy the morning light, go for a walk. Allow your body and mind to transition naturally into the day. Imagine your brain as a computer. You wouldn't expect it to run smoothly if you opened dozens of programs before the operating system finished loading. Yet that's exactly what happens when you begin your day scrolling through social media or checking emails before your mind has had a chance to fully wake up. So let's put everything together. 5 simple habits. Start with water before caffeine.